I'm sitting on a sled that I built, I sold, and I bought back. Let me tell you the story. I'll show you what's wrong with it now and show you what it is, I guess, and we'll get this project moving. So this sled is a 1972 Polaris Colt 250, 244 single. I built this sled several years ago, 8 years ago. I built it for Tommy and I to race up at Bratfest in a specific class that called for a stock 1973 and older one-cylinder sled with studs and big carbides. So this was a sled I built that fit the bill on that. And we raced it, and it did all right, you know. Eventually, racing ended up at Bratfest. Nobody raced anymore, and I needed the space. I knew another guy that wanted to get into one-lunger racing. I sold the sled off. Well, he raced it twice, burned it down. Sled's been sitting for 3 years. Now I'm more interested in doing some more one-lunger racing, so I bought it back. Seems like a good project for the channel. So let me show you what all this project entails. All right, so I'm just looking the sled over. I peeled some duct tape numbers off the hood. Unfortunate there, you can see them, and I don't think I'll ever cover that up. First thing I noticed, the seat's a little worse for the wear. It wasn't a great seat when I sold it. That's just a piece of vinyl somebody stretched over and stapled down. You can always tell by those front corners. So I'll be doing something about the seat. I mentioned the engine. Where is it? That's a good question. I haven't seen the engine yet. So I should be getting that in the next week or so, along with some extra parts. We'll make something. We'll make a motor out of it. I don't know how. I don't know what I'm going to get, but we'll make a motor. So let's see, what's the next thing I noticed? Oh yeah, that master cylinder is locked up solid. So we've shown you that a couple times already. You know exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to get off the cutoff wheel, cut that thing off, and put an Indy master cylinder on it. It's a great way to go. But let me get a flashlight and show you the gas tank next. So I'm not sure how well this is going to come out on camera. But this is a steel tank, and it is full of sediment and full of scale. So that's probably going to be my first project. I want to get it off, get it drained out, and pressure wash it. And it's going to be 50 degrees on Thursday. That's when I'm doing my pressure washing because it's December. I'm also going to seal it this time. I didn't seal it last time. It held up okay for a while, but I don't ever want to do it again. So I'll take you through that process too. I don't know, it costs a little money to buy the kit to do it, but I'm going to do it and do it right. So let's see, what else? No motor, the gas tank, the seat. I think that's and the brakes. I think those are all the issues I found for now. So I'm going to get going on this. I'm going to get that gas tank off there first, get it drained out, and get it ready to be pressure washed out. All right, I'll show you a couple things I did when I built the sled that I forgot I even did, but I'm feeling pretty good about now. So these would be carriage bolts with Tinnerman nuts, which was really nice because then I didn't have to reach up into the tunnel with all the studs and, you know, get my hands all cut up. Could just go through the trunk. So that was wonderful. So the next thing is all these rivets. What those rivets are is some tunnel protectors to protect the tunnel from the studs. I don't even remember what I used. They could be aluminum ones from a TX. They might just be some Hyfax. I don't know. We'll take a look in there and check it out and see what it is at some point. Look what just came out with the gas tank. I'm having walnuts flashbacks. Let me show you something I noticed. You might have heard it there. Yeah, this is not a vented gas cap. the fuel was slowing down as it trickled out. And she's pretty red, but it could just be red oil. Anyways, did we just find the root cause of why this thing burned down? Now I need to find a vented gas cap for it. I should probably add that is not the gas cap that was on that sled when I sold it. That's much too new. All right, we're just finishing up draining the gas tank. Let me show you that. Got a lot of crap in the filter from that. Not that that was a new filter, but it wasn't anywhere near that dirty. And the gas is dark red. Not sure what to do with that stuff. It doesn't smell bad, so I don't know. Skid loader again? I'm not sure. I'll have to think on it. And then see if I can give you a better view inside the tank. It is far from a disaster in there. I'm going to pressure wash it. There's definitely some rust stains and stuff. I don't know if you can see that. I may seal it. I may not. I probably will. But I've definitely dealt with much worse fuel tanks. Well, I get the seat and the gas tank off. There's no motor in it, obviously. Seems like a great time to flip it over and talk about the rubber track conversion. So, the main thing that you are seeing there is an Arctic Cat 116, 252 pitch, 15 wide. That's the track I used. Now, the skid is 76 TX skid. That's the newest skid you're legal to run in the Wild Bill in this class. And I feel it's way superior to the Colt skid. I got some bigger wheels on back here. What size do they say? I can't see. They're 7 or 8 inches. They're good size wheels, but they work out pretty good. I've got some extra wheels added inside the skid there, just, for low snow conditions or whatever. There's a shock in there. I believe I replaced that when I built this. And then up front, those are Arctic Cat drive wheels. 252 pitch, let's call it 74.56, Panther, Cheetah, that kind of thing. That's what those wheels are. Those are the wheels that Arctic Cat use that go on to a 1-inch round shaft and use a roll pin. And there are 3 of them in there. So, seems to be plenty good for a 250. Heck, they were running them in way bigger, heavier sleds with 440s. So, there's your rubber track conversion. Let me tip her back quick. All right, for the guy who keeps leaving the comments, I'm sorry I forgot your name, that I need a 1972 Colt exhaust. Here you go, I got one. But it's not going on Lonnie's sled, it'll be on my sled. But there you go. Such a thing exists. Otherwise, this sled wasn't in horrible shape for a steel sled. You can see I didn't have to replate anything. I did reinforce the skid holes. Not that that's any big deal. On the front, I moved it up for more ski pressure. But, I don't know. Pretty standard stuff other than the rubber track conversion. I do need to open this up. I have no idea what gears are in there. I'm betting it's maybe a 13-tooth top gear. And I need to go to a 15 or maybe even a 17. Neither of which I have. All right, we're on to the soldering phase. So I got this tinning flux that you can get it in your hardware store. I got some solder that I think is 6040 electrical solder, maybe. It says it's acid core. And I don't know. We're just going to solder it on. There you go. So you don't want to melt the solder with the flame. You want to melt it with the heat from the things you're soldering together. That is soldered. That's all it takes. All right, now that I got it soldered, I'm going to trim it off with the tubing cutter. Kind of a strength test. If it falls off, I didn't solder it good enough. There we go. It's a little rolled over now from the tubing cutter, but no big deal. Plenty of room for air to get out, or you can just deburr it with your handy pocket knife. All right, let's talk about how I'm going to seal this thing. So there isn't a ton of rust in there, and honestly, there isn't really anything loose and scaly like I was expecting to find. So I'm going to skip the pressure washing step. What's in there is really light. So the first step is this cleaner degreaser, and this is, what, a quart. So I'll probably dilute it about 4-to-1. I'll just go to the laundry tub and do that and degrease the inside of this tank really good. I'll use really hot water. I'll shake it up. I'll get it super clean. I'll have to block off the vent and the outlet fitting, but I don't know. That's all there is to it. Next, once I got it super rinsed out, I've got this Pour 15 metal prep, and you gotta pour this in. I'll probably use it straight up. You gotta keep the metal wet for 15 minutes. It is probably gonna flash rust on any bare metal after this. It's no big deal. The Pour 15 gas tank sealer, this stuff sticks to rust really well. So this little can will do this 5-gallon tank. I've done a lot of tanks this way. This is the system I use. If you want to use something else, that's fine. But I've used this on tanks as small as my Indian dirt bike from my 1974 Indian dirt bike up to the 33-gallon aftermarket steel tank in my Scout 2. So I know it works. I know it works on any size tank. I've done 5-gallon tanks with this kit before. It's great. In fact, you'll be amazed. Even after I've got it completely coated, more than half of this will come back out into the can. So I'm going to get after it. Doubt I'm going to be able to show you this very well, but it's an hour and 15, hour and a half after I started. The degreasing goes really fast. But I kept the rust metal prep, rust inhibitor stuff in there for a full hour, even though it said 20 minutes, and it looks like it worked pretty good. So let's see if I can show you anything in there. I bet you're just going to see a flashlight. All right, so maybe you can see up around the neck. There's not as much rust. If you can see way in there, there's still some staining. It's probably hard to tell on the camera, but it's significantly improved, and for sure there's nothing loose left in there. So good enough. I'm going to start drying it out, and then Saturday I'll start the coating process. It's Thursday right now, so we'll let her dry for a while, and then I'll show you how I do the final dry when I get there. Well, I've been blowing shop vac air through this thing for hours now. There's no way it's not dry. Well, it's wet underneath. It's got to be dry inside. Let's go have a look over here in the brighter part of the shop. All right. Looks pretty dry. It's pretty clean. Looking pretty darn good. I don't know if you can see that. I think it's time. We're going to go for it. We're going to coat it. All right. Gonna shake this stuff up. Now you may be asking, why the rubber gloves, Nutter? Well, because Pour 15, that's why. This is the Pour 15 gas tank sealer. That's the whole kit. And stuff gets on your skin. It just doesn't come off. Alright, that's probably mixed up enough. If it's not, well, guess I'll pay the price. There we go. You see that? Nice silver looking stuff. And right in the tank. Alright, sacrificial gas cap. This is not the gas cap I'll be using when I'm running the sled. So, what I try to do is let it get all on one wall and then run it down to the other side. And repeat. And look inside and check and look inside, and it takes a long time. But eventually I'm done, the tank's coated, and I dump the excess out. So, let's bring it all to the bottom here. It's going to be really boring. It's going to be a lot of slowly turning the tank. But, that's life. Alright, I got the coating coming out of the vent tube and the pickup tube, so that's a good thing. That's a good sign. Been tumbling this thing around slowly for about 20 minutes now. There's no need to be in any hurry on this. This stuff takes forever to set up. So I'm just going to keep rotating it slowly until I'm 100% sure I've got all the interior surfaces coated. And then we'll drain it out and let her set up. Alright, I'm done draining the sealer back out. And you do got to drain it out. That can really should probably be more like 2/3 or 3/4 full, but there was a certain amount of spillage in the shop. A lot of it I drained out into this paper plate, and in the end I tilted it, ran it all to one corner, and I kind of blotted it up, and a few red rags were sacrificed. But it was fine. The coating isn't broke. The coating's real good. Oh, let me get that light on. So she's beautiful in there. Absolutely beautiful. So after all that was done, I took the old air gun. She's set pretty low because the compressor has been off for a while. Made sure I didn't have my pickup or my vent blocked. And that's it. Now we wait. It's a minimum of 4 days until you put gas in that tank now. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you. The gloves, they were a good idea. Alright, I'm going to wrap up part 1 right there. I know that was a lot of work on that fuel tank. Yes, it was. 4 or 5 hours probably, all in over a few evenings. But I know that when you do this kit and you do the prep work right and you seal it and coat it right, it lasts forever. So I'm really happy about that I'm not going to have to worry about the fuel tank anymore. Now, you may be wondering, Nutter, why didn't you just get a plastic fuel tank? It would have been less work. Well, A, I don't have any more plastic fuel tanks laying around. Lonnie got the last Colt plastic fuel tank. And B, the sled is set up for that steel fuel tank with the right brackets for it. So I'd have to find brackets and modify the sled and all that. So, I don't know. It was just my decision that the right thing to do was just to get that steel tank prepped and resealed. So, with that said, I want to say huge thanks to the patrons. If you don't know the patrons, whose names are up here right now, give the channel a small donation every month to help keep us going. They support the beer and the pizza that we have around here, and it's just generally good for morale. And in return, they get to see all the videos early, and they also get patron-only videos. And this fall, we've been pretty good about that with a few a month. So if you're interested in that, some of the types of patron video they get are like behind-the-scenes stuff. Sometimes we leave the camera rolling. You don't see that here on YouTube, but they'll get the like after the camera shuts off type videos. Sometimes they'll just get little extras from around the shop. I don't know. It's usually good stuff. A lot of times it's me and Dennis and Lonnie just laughing at stuff and having good times. So everybody else, if you're not going to join the Patreon, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit subscribe. And if you think you're subscribed, make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube seems to be unsubscribing people from various channels for no discernible reason. And with that said, we'll see you on the trails.